The latest trailer for Pokémon Legends Z-A finally gave us a look at the first brand new Mega Evolution that will appear in the game. And let's just say, not everyone was happy. But beyond Mega Dragonite, this trailer reveals a lot more details about the story and new mechanics, so let's break down everything you missed in Pokémon Legends Z-A's third trailer. Like my last few breakdowns, I want to mention up front that I have seen the list of potential Mega Evolutions that was leaked a while back. However, I won't be discussing them at all in this video, just in case there's any viewers out there that are avoiding spoilers. Heck, I wish I hadn't seen them. Anyway, we technically got two trailers today, seamlessly connected during the Pokémon Presents, but uploaded separately on the official Pokémon channel. Both trailers pretty much cover the same information, just presented in different ways, so rather than jumping back and forth between them, I've decided to divide this analysis in two parts as well, so let's begin with the new characters. Introducing Team MZ, a crew of young trainers aiming to keep Lumiose a peaceful place. I guess there's no cops in this city? And this finally confirms what the logo on the jacket our character wears by default is, though I'm not actually sure what the MZ stand for, but I do kinda like this theory. Anyway, we're recruited into Team MZ after defeating either Tawny or Urbane, and soon after get to meet the other two new faces who round out this trainer trio. First up is Lita, a cheerful dancer who came to Lumiose in the hopes of going pro, and apparently a croissant-loving foodie too. But if you're thinking she looks a little familiar, look no further than her three-tip pointed hair, which is quite reminiscent of Tierno, one of the rivals from the original Pokémon X and Y. Besides the hair, they both share a love of dancing and of course a love for food. I mean, why else would Tierno be wearing an ice cream shirt? Their names are also direct opposites, with Tierno meaning soft or tender, and Lita coming from the Spanish word solida, meaning solid or hard. But the fact both of their names come from Spanish might also be more than just coincidence, as a few people have pointed out Lita kinda looking like Dendra from Scarlet and Violet as well. Who knows, maybe they're all related. Rounding out Team MZ, we have Naveen, a fashion designer in the making who's apparently not fond of battling. Despite this, we see him battling plenty of times later in the trailer, while Lita only appears once, but of course both Naveen and Lita are shown to have Mega Bracelets, meaning at least one of their Pokemon will Mega Evolve. And considering we only see Lita with Staryu, and it's even on her shirt, while Naveen's rocking Scraggy even on the back of his jacket, those would be their most likely Pokemon to Mega Evolve. Though Mega Crocodile would go pretty insane. And that's it for Team MZ, but definitely not the last trainer we'll be teaming up with in this game, as this trailer does confirm the mystery girl on the Legends Z-A box art is in fact Emma. And let's be real, almost everyone knew that it was going to be her, since you could clearly see her wearing the expansion suit beneath that trench coat. A bold choice, considering the expansion suit was basically a mind control device. Maybe she's got it figured out now. But more importantly, you can see that the expansion suit now has a Mega Stone embedded in the center of it. Now, I'm assuming she's not Mega Evolving Esper, which means her Mega Pokemon is most likely Lucario since we saw it on the box art. But despite being more than capable as a Pokemon trainer, Emma seems to need our help in dealing with the many problems plaguing Lumiose, like these Trubbish loitering in front of a restaurant, or this Watchog just standing there menacingly. Of course, there's a much more serious threat in Lumiose, which we'll get to later in the video, but for now we have one more face that at least 3 people watching this video will recognize. I joke, but during my live reaction to this trailer, there were so many people that had no idea who this lady was, and I don't blame you, since the Team Flare scientist only appeared like 3 times in the whole game and barely had any story or personality. So whether you've seen her or not, this is Mable, an ex-Team Flare scientist, but now the acting director of Lumiose's Pokemon Research Lab, aka Professor Sycamore's lab. You can even see the desk exactly matches the one in X and Y, and the lab's walls being painted blue, leaving many wondering what happened to stupid, sexy Sycamore. Interesting to note that her Japanese name is Momiji, which directly translates to maple, so maybe she was always destined to be a professor, cause, you know, they're all named after trees. So I won't ding her as a twist villain just yet, but rocking the Team Flare logo on your sweet gaming chair and laptop is a pretty bold choice, considering they blew up a whole town and almost the whole region. Man, they really must not have cops in Kalos, because this lady should definitely be in jail. As far as her role in Z-A though, she's kinda like this game's Professor Laventon from back in Legends Arceus, giving out rewards for filling up the Pokédex and completing requests. which might be a little confusing because requests in Legends Arceus were side quests, but in this game I think might be more like research tasks. You know, the stuff like seeing Pokemon use certain moves or catching different sizes. Because we saw that side quests are now called side missions, so it looks like the names have been switched around. But on this screen you can see that for filling up the Pokedex and completing requests, Mable will reward you with items like TMs and occasionally EXP candy. But something very important I noticed here is the confirmation that moves no longer have PP or accuracy, just cooldown. And previously some people had speculated that the speed stat could be related to cooldown, but from what it looks like here, they have a set cooldown, so the speed stat might just affect how fast you can dodge.
Why are you running?
Of all the familiar faces that could have appeared in this trailer, Mable was perhaps the last on my list, so I guess this means pretty much anyone from X and Y could pop up in Z-A now. But to wrap up on new characters, we actually have a whole new organization known as the Rust Syndicate. Not much is known about exactly what this company does, but we do at least get to meet their boss, Corbeau. This guy's interesting, not just because he's my favorite design of all the characters so far, but because he's actually taking part in the Z-A Royale, meaning he has a wish he wants fulfilled, so I wonder what that wish could be. If it wasn't obvious, this dude specializes in poison types, with Arbok seemingly being his ace. In fact, the whole introduction to this Rust Syndicate is giving heavy poison type gym vibes, even down to their logo. Of course, there's only one official gym in Lumiose, but this makes me wonder if there might be any other organizations in the city that basically take over the role of traditional gyms in this game. For all we know, the actual Lumiose gym leader might even be taking part in the Z-A Royale. But going back to this logo, you can also see it on his jacket along with a Mega Stone, meaning he'll definitely have a Mega Evolution. And considering we've so far only seen one of his Pokemon, could mean Mega Arbok is coming. Although we do see a couple other Pokemon around the Rust Syndicate, like King Gambit and Weezing statues outside, and Steelix decorating the walls behind his battlefield. But like I mentioned, Corbeau definitely reads more like a poison trainer, and it's his right-hand man that looks a little more like a steel-type specialist, who also happens to be wearing a Megastone, so we'll definitely be battling him at some point. And that brings me to one final note on Corbeau. Some fans are likening him to Kieran from the Scarlet and Violet DLC, and I can definitely see it in the eyes and even the hair, at least when Kieran goes Ultra Instinct. I know not every character has to be related to someone else, but you have to admit, the Japanese decorations all over his office, his battlefield essentially being a Zen garden, I mean, even King Gambit being there is definitely giving Kitakami. Not to mention, pretty much every character in Legends Arceus was related to someone from a past game, so I really don't think it's just coincidence. And that finally does it for all the new characters introduced, but there's still plenty more to break down in this trailer, which we'll be getting to after a word from our sponsor, Sakurako and Tokyo Treat. You think I might be joking, but ever since going to Japan, I just crave konbini food. And thanks to Tokyo Treat, I can at least get a little taste of that without having to go all the way to Japan. And this month's theme is Summer Matsuri Snack Fest. I've heard of Matsuri, it's like a summer festival, right? Let's find out, because every Tokyo Treat and Sakurako comes with a booklet where you can read more about the theme for this month. Chocolate orange Kit Kats! It's like they made this box for me. I can read that. Watagashi. I don't know what that is. And there he is, of course. Right on time, Mr. Cheese. Welcome. Would you like some orange gummies? He did just have his lunch, so maybe he'll be chill today. Look at this. Okay, the look of it is a little strange, maybe because you're used to seeing a big puff, but it smells so good. Oh my goodness. Wow. Just melts in your mouth. I'm not gonna lie, a lot of times I judge these snacks just off the packaging, or at least which ones I think I'll like. But that's where the booklet comes in clutch, because yeah, I wouldn't know what these are. Oh my god. Wow. Nah, this is just a banger box. Legit, could just eat the whole bag right now, but I shouldn't. Because of course, we've got one more snack to try, because every Tokyo Treat comes with a special Kit Kat. It comes with a lot of them too, so makes a great snack to share if you want to get a box for a friend or a loved one. I wish I could share it with you, Cheese, but half the stuff in here would probably kill you. So that's Tokyo Treat, which is of course more modern, contemporary snacks, whereas Sakurako has more traditional flavors. This month's theme is Journey to Okinawa. Oh, I miss it so much. The island. And every month there's one specific snack creator that's highlighted. This right here is the signature treat for this month. It's a honey plum. Okay, yeah, that smells strong, but it's not super sour. It smells kind of sweet. I just pop the whole thing in my mouth.
There might be a seed in it, so be careful.
There was a seed. Be careful. But actually, not as sour as I thought. It tastes like a tamarind. But perhaps my favorite part of Sakurako is that every month you get some kind of glass or tableware item. Just look at how beautiful this is. We actually use these a lot too, just to put sauces in it when you're eating chips or something. And then of course this, for tea, it actually says to enjoy this tea iced. So I'm just gonna let that steep and enjoy that later. But I want to give a huge shout out to Tokyo Treat and Sakurako for continuing to sponsor my channel. If you guys would like to sign up and get some delicious snacks delivered right to your door, you can use the link in the description or the code on screen to get $5 off your first order. Thanks again for sponsoring. Next, we're going to dive into some of the new features and mechanics revealed in this trailer. It may not seem like there was a lot at first glance, but this might just be the trailer that's gotten me most excited for Legends Z-A so far. And I can't lie, a huge part of it is definitely because character customization has finally been confirmed. Most fans probably saw this coming from a mile away, considering it is Kalos, the region that first introduced character customization. And Legends Z-A is living up to that, with easily the most diverse customization we've ever seen in Pokemon. Well, at least for the female character, cause they show off about 3 times as many options as they have for the guy. Though it is worth noting that in Scarlet and Violet you could wear any clothes regardless of the character you picked, so maybe that'll still be the case in Z-A. But looking at the variety of customization in this game, I feel that Pokemon is really close to perfecting it. Really the only thing missing are face and body options, like letting you choose the height or weight of your character. But I guess that does leave him a little room for improvement in Gen 10. Even though customization was my personal biggest want for this game, right up there with it was an improved camera mode. And I'm really happy to see that Legends Z-A is improving it even further. With the camera in this game being the Rotom phone, that means you can basically free fly and frame your photos however you want. And specifically at benches, it looks like you can even let your whole party out to take pictures with. I even noticed what looks like a button to turn off the HUD. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if some of the shots in this trailer were actually filmed with the Rotom camera. Which brings us to this scene of our trainer sitting at the cafe. We had previously seen this was possible with the starters, and I kind of assumed maybe it was just a cutscene early on in the story. But this trailer actually confirms you can do this with any Pokemon. Considering they're showing this right after showcasing the camera feature, I'm guessing the cafes are just another spot where you can take pictures, kind of like the benches. Which means there might be other spots you can interact and pose with your Pokemon. But now let's get to what I know most of you have been waiting for. Actually, not Mega Dragonite yet. We're almost there, but first I have to talk about the return of Alpha Pokemon. Just in case you didn't play Legends Arceus, Alpha Pokemon are basically oversized versions of regular Pokemon with menacing glowing red eyes that almost always attack you on sight. I've seen a few comments mentioning that these look a little too small to be alphas, but that dog is bigger than a freaking car, so I wouldn't say they look too small. So far we've only seen these 2 alphas, Houndoom and Watchog, with the latter shown in a very peculiar spot. It looks like this might be part of a side quest, so I don't know if there will be other alpha Pokemon trapped like this, but at least Houndoom's acting more like what you'd expect. Even being grouped with some Houndour, like an alpha leading a pack in real life. The Pokemon site states that alphas will behave pretty much exactly like they did back in Legends Arceus, leaving me wondering what other features might return as is from the previous game. Pretty much since Legends Z-A was announced, and all we had was the map of Lumiose and the tease of Mega Evolutions returning, I've predicted one thing: wild Mega Evolutions. More specifically, back then I imagined certain Mega Pokemon being akin to the Nobles from Legends Arceus. Basically badass boss battles with rampaging monsters. And I mean, that seems to be exactly what we're getting in Legends Z-A. It's still unknown exactly why or how these Pokemon are Mega Evolving on their own, but the Pokemon site does say that they are going on rampages and seemingly in pain. This immediately brought back memories to when Megas were first introduced, and some of the Pokédex entries claimed that they were in pain. Except, I'm pretty sure they retconned that later, but I guess now it's back? Maybe it's only painful because they're on their own and the bond between trainer and Pokemon makes it bearable to Mega Evolve. I'm just speculating on that last part, but on that note, I previously theorized that it could be Quasartico themselves that's forcing these Pokemon to Mega Evolve, just to release more Mega Energy into the air and collect it to repower the ultimate weapon. They gotta make those wishes happen somehow. So far, we've gotten 3 wild Mega Evolutions confirmed in Tyranitar, Slowbro, and Absol, which is now confirmed to be the one that the previous trailer teased at the ending, with this new trailer picking up right where the last one left off. And actually the official name is Rogue Mega Evolution. Pokemon that are seemingly so rage-induced and powerful that you'll need the help of your friends to take down. But even the power of friendship might not be enough to take down one of these super-powered rogues. And this is where we finally get to what you've all been waiting for. Maybe I held off on talking about it so long because the reactions to Mega Dragonite so far have been more divided than Anon Getsis at the dinner table. Personally, I don't have that strong of an opinion on it. I mean, to me, Dragonite has always looked kinda goofy. Except in Gen 5 for some reason, but it's always been the derpy dragon, and I'm just happy to see it finally getting some love after almost 30 years of waiting. I think it's totally valid if you don't like the design, by the way, but what I don't get is people saying it's weird that its wings are on its head, when pretty much all the information we've got is that it looks like Dragonair, which, Dragonair's got wings on its head. So yeah, the wings themselves could have looked better, but honestly I think everyone will forget about this whole debacle as soon as they confirm it's shiny to be blue. Beyond its design though, Mega Dragonite will actually remain a dragon and flying type, which may also be disappointing to some. But after Mega Evolving, they only show it using special moves, I believe Focus Blast and Draco Meteor. So in terms of stats, I do imagine it leaning more towards special attack, to at least set it apart from the Mega Croissant. Really what'll make or break Mega Dragonite is of course its ability, which sadly Pokémon Legends Z-A won't have, so I guess we'll have to wait until these can be transferred to Pokemon Champions to see what Mega Dragonite's really capable of. One last thing I noticed during this scene is that the Mega Meter actually looks like it fills up on its own. You can see here, it's just barely not full and then suddenly gets activated without Dragonite doing anything, so maybe it's just always slowly filling up by itself. For defeating these rampaging rogue Mega Evolutions, you'll earn their Mega Stone, which I think is so much cooler than just finding them on the floor. Although not every Mega Stone will be obtained this way, as the website actually clarifies that some Mega Stones can also be traded for at Quasartico. But what are Mega Shards, you might be asking? Well, I'm not sure why they kept this out of the trailer, but apparently there's just clusters of Mega Crystals scattered all over Lumiose that you can have your Pokemon break to obtain Mega Shards. In fact, the website even says you can buy some Mega Stones from the Stone Emporium, so unless you can obtain multiple Mega Stones of the same kind, which I doubt, then this confirms not every Mega Evolution will appear as rampaging rogues, or at least not all of them will drop their Mega Stone when defeated. But going back to the Mega Crystals, I'm sure they reminded many of you of a certain mythical Pokemon first introduced in Gen 6, that was likely meant to have an event in Pokémon Z, but since that never came out, well, maybe Legends Z-A will finally explain the link between Diancie and Mega Evolution. If there is any, because the crystals are also the same color as the Anistar Sundial, which was key to obtaining the Mega Stones back in X and Y, so are they all the same type of crystals? I just pray we finally get some lore for these mythical Pokemon. In addition to these Mega Crystals though, I also noticed in this scene there's a mound of cracked rocks, which I assume your Pokemon can also break, but I'm not sure what they could contain. So far we haven't seen crafting in this game, so maybe these rocks are just for a side quest, or there are Mega Crystals in the rocks. I'm not really sure. But to wrap up this breakdown, we have to talk about the ending teaser. The first Legends Z-A gameplay trailer ended with this cinematic that teased at the Z-A Royale. The following trailer ended with this mysterious energy that we now know was teasing rogue Mega Evolutions. And this newest trailer ends with Noibat? Other than the obvious Mega Noivern, I have no idea what they could be teasing with this one. Noivern is featured pretty heavily on the key art, but a third Dragon Flying type Mega Evolution just doesn't seem very likely to me. Now, I mentioned how the English trailer was split in two, but in Japan and during the Direct, these trailers are actually merged, which means technically we end with Zygarde. So could the next trailer finally be the one to reveal its supposed Mega Evolution? Only time will tell. But there's one last very random thing I wanted to point out. It's probably the biggest hopium in this whole trailer, which is why I'm saving it for last, but have you guys noticed that we are now 4 trailers into this game and we've yet to see any of the starter Pokemon's evolutions? Even in this most recent trailer, you can see plenty of fully evolved Pokemon, yet our MCs are still choosing to keep their starters as babies. It's just a little weird, almost like they're hiding their evolutions for some reason. I think most people have stopped believing that these 3 will get regional forms or evolutions, more likely just Mega Evolutions for their final forms, but why else would they be hiding their middle stages for this long? It's not like the middle stages in Legends Arceus starters looked any different, so could they actually get Kalosian forms after all? Thankfully, we might not have to wait that long to find out, or at least to get the next batch of information, as I believe I read that a demo of Pokémon Legends Z-A will be playable at the Gamescom coming up in August. We don't know exactly what that demo will contain, but it should at least give us our first glimpse at full, uninterrupted gameplay. So be sure to subscribe if you haven't yet to stay tuned for that, and don't forget to leave a like if you enjoyed.